Okay, I wanted to do a quick review in Excel to help you prepare for the exam. I'm sharing, this is the Group 1 assignment data that I'm just going to do some quick work on that can help you remember some of the work that was done in the assignments recently that you can use for the Excel portion of the exam. Um, So the main thing we're going to be doing is obviously pivot charts and tables. There is one thing you're going to be asked to do, and I would recommend doing it up front so that you can include it in your pivots to save time. There's going to be a calculation, because this is new in Excel, we did agree that we're going to share it. This will be um, on the exam. So what we're doing, and you'll have the code provided to you in the exam. It's using an if-and statement in order to designate using the birth date, which is a date format, to generate a new category name. And the first thing to do is to be conscious of the dates that they're asking for. So in this case, they're looking to categorize things between January 1st, 82 and December 31st, 99. So what I would do is I would plug those dates here. So January 1st, 1982. And you can call this one start. It doesn't matter. This is just for your own reference, and stop. And then the closing date would be 12/31, 1999. And it's identifying anything between these two ranges is going to be called a millennial. And here we could say, we'll use this as millennial. I'm not going to use the exact terms that they're recommending in the exam, so you'll have to make sure you do that do that work yourself, and make sure to include it. So I'm going to send this out so you don't actually have to you don't have to write it down or copy it. But what I'm doing is an if and statement. So it's if and then whatever is in this and statement, there'll be two things: logical one, logical two. And what I'm going to be saying is that first, that the date over here is greater than or equal to this date. And when I highlight it, I'm going to hit the F4. And if you notice here, it locks that cell. So when I copy it down, it doesn't move. That's good to know. And then the other logical is that same cell, that B2. In this case, it's less than or equal to the cell below. So this is V3. And again, I'm going to lock that. And so that is the and part of the if and. And I'm going to close, that's the and part. I'm going to close the and. And then from within here, just looking at my formats, yeah. A comma, and then what we want to call it if it's correct. In this case, I'm just going to say yes. And if it's incorrect, I'm going to say no. Then you close it. Hit enter. So this group here, where this individual here, and this is using the birth date, is not a millennial. So that's no. You see it goes down. There's a lot of yeses and nos. And that's all you really have to do. The first thing I would recommend too is when you open the file, since you'll also be uploading it, I would change it, do a file, save as, and save it as a different name, and ideally as a Excel workbook. You don't want to be working in the CSV file because we're going to have to load that later. So make sure that you're saving it. but this is helpful to create these two. The code that they're giving you is actually you're plugging it in. It's a little more complicated, but this is a nice little shortcut. And you also, it doesn't matter if the date's converted or not, which this is a date format, but because it assigns the numeric value of each one of these dates, and then it can read it into the formula and give you the right answer. So that's it for this. So that new column is now added, and we can continue with then the rest. So again, I would scan down the report or the exam, and you could find the section that asks to create a new variable, and this is right there. What I just demonstrated is how you do it. The next is that you're going to be asked to you'll actually ask to use it, but I'm going to go ahead and start them with the rest, just some random things that'll be helpful. And the first one is real quick on how to build how to quickly create a pivot table. So you highlight anywhere on that existing table, go to Insert, Pivot Table, and you can see it automatically selects the whole range. I normally do a new worksheet, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in here because we'll be referring back to the data. And see, it drops in a blank pivot table. So we'll do a variety of different things, but in this case, we have all the information here, and let's say we just wanted to do the average height. You put height over here, and we'll say I think we'll use so we can use our millennial group. We'll just drop it in here, and this is yes or no. So you can see those heights are pretty tall. That's because it's a sum. You have to remember to go in, change that value to average. You get a goofy number. I always recommend going in and changing it. You can highlight the whole thing, go to home, and I'm just putting in using the format number here. Use the comma and then adjust the the digits after the decimal, up or down, and that essentially gives you those that are millennials are 67, those are not, are just about the same, really no difference. And then if you want to graph it, you just click on the box. I think generally if you use what's recommended, it's pretty spot on. You could use it as a starting point. If you want to change it, you can. Make sure that the title and names are appropriate. In this case, height of millennials. Not that we're picking on millennials, but and this is acceptable if it has if you leave these here, and you can see within the graph that this is average of height for the column, and here are millennials, yes, no, for the axis. You don't need that total over there. I would say it's probably, oops, it's probably preferable to get rid of it and adjust your bar chart. It doesn't have to be that specific, but make sure it's legible. Just to do some other ones. So this is the shortcut I mentioned in class, is that once you have the framework established, you can copy that, create another one, and then you have a whole new opportunity here to add stuff. And this one, if you wanted to look at, so here we have average height. Let's say we're just creating another one. I want to look at income, and this will be let's say Hispanic and non-Hispanic. Yeah, that may not be a good one. Yeah, I guess it would. So anything with a 1 Anything with a 1 would be the Hispanic, and one with 0 would be non-Hispanic. It would be nicer if we had labels, so just for the sake of it, you'll have data set that'll have more labels to work with. We'll do a yes and a no here. And then again, let's look at average, because the total can be disrupted by the total number. And then again, since this is dollars, we can get rid of the decimal. And then the same thing again, to create a graph, you insert. Here's the graph. Looks good. And you have to remember it does the scaling for you, because you can see it's actually really close here, but you can see the scaling allows you to highlight. You don't need that total there, and then this change would be income millennials. Okay. And then, so as you're going through the exam, you can really just copy. Once you've added the data that you need, that's why I recommend doing it up front. You don't have to rebuild the pivot table every time. You can copy and paste. It gives you a brand new slate hit here. And then this one is so we're going to keep with the millennial, since it's a nice group that we have. We're going to put two variables on the axis. In this case, let's do height and weight. Here it is. Yep. Put weight or height and weight. And then, not that it's really relevant, I'm going to leave it at sum. So if you're asked for a total, it's going to be asking for a sum. And otherwise it would be asking for an average. And, so here you can see, so this will be, this, I guess if we were to do, if in this case, I would just leave it, just because we're using totals here, but just recognize that, like, if it was total spending, it would be something that would be more relevant versus total weight and total height. And then the same thing, insert recommended chart. This one's gonna be a little more interesting because there's a second variable on it. And you can see it drops it in. And in this case, it is helpful to have the key, because there's two different variables on the x-axis, which the key is fairly helpful. And then moving on, again, you can copy. I think hopefully you see the pattern here. So this is so this one. What I'm going to do is so this is how to do a histogram for the most part. In this case, we're going to find. We'll put income. Well, take these out. No, take these out. In fact, I'll just clear it all out and then put income down here. So we get a long list of variables because it's listing all of the levels of income. And then we would put income over here as well. And then for this one, we're gonna do a count. And what this will show us is by each individual group. So then from in here, we're going to add a group, and let's say we want to start at 10,000. And this goes all the way up to, you probably remember this from the group project, and that's broken, and we'll say by 10,000. That's fine. And then this will show you the distribution. In fact, we could probably go just to make it a little tighter. Let's go 25%. 5,000. That's going to be a lot tighter. Yeah. And then again here, so this really is a histogram. So we go to insert, recommended. So it's going to do a clustered column, which essentially is what we're looking for. It's a type of histogram. Take that, and again, that's showing you the distribution breaks across the income level, and you could say count by income. Yeah, and then the only thing to be careful when you're using this copy and paste, it's always easier to copy the smallest one. It's good to do it progressively going down, because if I were to put another one here and it extends below into my pivot table, you'll get a warning message that it won't allow you to build it. So yeah, and then I'd say just like another count function, just repurpose this. I would say I would again throw in, I guess we'll leave it millennials, or we could use, these are ones and zeros. I'd say siblings. Yeah, that's kind of big. You're going to want to use, in this case, I want to use a label, a category. So, and then so then instead of height, we'll do income, which we've done before. That's what was here. Again, this is set at count. So if we wanted to change that value to average, and then add another bar chart. You might be asked to put these in a specific order. There's different ways you could order it. It doesn't matter, but and for what we selected, but to force an order, you can either drag and drop. If it's just a couple, you can just grab one here and move it. You'll see I move it up here. Now I got yes, no, and then, I guess it didn't update the chart. Sorry about that. Yeah, so actually, yes, no, and yes, actually it is updating the chart. Another way is that you can either click here, you click that down arrow, you can sort alphabetically, which is usually what it defaults to. No, yes, or you can click more sort options, and then you can sort it by the whatever the value is that's in your table. And if there were multiple things there, so in this case, millennial is just the age, so it would be alphabetical. But if I want to do it by income, through multiple things there, it would be more important to have that corrected. So, and I think that's about it for the Excel portion. Hopefully this is helpful. The main new thing is this piece here, and I'm going to send this out with my update as a study guide, and I'll leave the bars in here. But this should help you, get comfortable with the Excel portion. And that's it. I'm going to send this as the Excel spreadsheet. You'll also get the data too as a CSV file to load with the R that I'll be sending out as well. Thank you.